In our last update, I had one support level that I wanted to see reached on Bitcoin and also offer a bounce to the upside, which was the daily open at $119,200. However, if we lost that level, I did expect much lower prices. However, this time, if we go over to the charts, I cannot say that this is exactly what happened, because what ended up playing out is that we lost the daily open, which was again around 119.2. So we lost the daily open, which was a sign of weakness in my opinion, but price just ended up reversing to the upside from there. So as usual, before I dive into today's price action and what you can potentially expect next, I want to quickly recap what I personally did. And as usual, very simple, I was waiting for the daily open, and even though we saw this bounce, which had front on my level as you can see, personally, I had got front on, so no long position for me. And then we got the drop to the daily open, it got tapped exactly as I wanted to see. However, we didn't have enough volume for me to open a long position. And in the end, this was the right read because price simply continued to the downside. However, as mentioned, this was a big sign of weakness in my opinion, and I did expect to move towards $116,500. So the next day, what I wanted to do was simply wait, monitor price action to see if I open any short positions, and that's again exactly what I did. We got this nice move up into this 30-minute imbalance. We had a very nice reaction, so I did open my short up here at $190,500. As you can see right there, this was my short. I got stopped out when we made a higher high, and this was my trade right there. However, even though I still expected lower prices after getting stopped out, I didn't want to open any new short positions, and the reason for that was that as Monday was such a weak daily candle close, I didn't want to see price linger around too much above Monday's low, but that's what happened, and that's why I didn't want to open any more short positions. And in the end, this was the right trade because price simply moved much higher. And if we go over to the charts, what actually happened is that we made a new all-time high, which is now actually offering a rejection. So with all of that said, this time I have to admit I was wrong on my bias, but I do have to say, after seeing such a weak daily candle close, which was an imbalance, and on Binance as well, you had two daily imbalances and you had the wickless candle, it did make sense to expect lower prices. However, again, this was the wrong analysis this time, and we just made another move higher. But in any case, if we go over to Bybit, what can you expect next? Does this SFP of the all-time high, will it offer a much bigger drop to the downside, or can we look for local support? Well, today, in my opinion, we have one pretty important support to the downside. This would be first, if we go on the 12-hour, as you can see, we have this 12-hour imbalance. So what I would do is take the open of this candle. Then on the 4-hour, we have an imbalance right there. On the 1-hour, we don't have much. You could maybe take this one, but I don't know if I like this level. You could take it anyway, it's still a small area. So for now, that's what I would mark out. And then finally, for one last confluence, we have, if you take the volume profiles, we have yesterday's point of control in this area, as you can see. Actually, there's one more thing that I want to look at, and this would be the anchored view up. I haven't looked at this yet, so maybe from this low. Okay, it's not gonna come there. How about from the overall low? It's not gonna come there as well. Okay, and we do actually have one more confluence that I forgot to mention, and this would be the bigger volume profile from this entire range. And as you can see, we do have the value area high right there. So that's why today, this support area will be pretty important in my opinion, because if you lose it, you would have recovered the 12-hour imbalance. This would be a completed failed auction above the all-time high, and on top of that, you would be getting back into the value area high of this entire range. And what happened last time, by the way, is that the point of control actually offered support, which again I didn't expect, but you can see how this volume profile has gotten respected very well. So that's why today we have this pretty important support, value area high, 12-hour imbalance, and yesterday's point of control. So with that said, how can you play around that? Well, it's pretty simple. If you go on the 30 minutes, first you can see that we do have very nice volume on this drop. We have 3 30-minute imbalances, and also on Binance you have 2 30-minute imbalances. So with that said, volume is looking good on this drop. However, if we bounce first, personally, I might look to open a short position just because I really want to see this area revisited. Just like on Monday, I want to see the daily open revisited, as it did. Today, I do want to see this area revisited. So if you rise first, I might open a short position if I see a good structure, okay, to see a reversal to the downside and hit the support area. And then from there, it's pretty simple. You either see a good reaction, you open a long position, and then you see a reversal to the upside to break back above this all-time high. Or if you lose this level, so if you do something like this, okay, maybe a small bounce and then continue lower. So if you lose this level, this time I will look for the wickless daily candle at $116,500 to get hit. Okay, so let's go back on the 1 hour, lose this area. I would expect a drop towards at least $116,500. And if we get this, I will make a new update to outline, do we have a good long position down there, or should you still expect lower prices? So with all of that said, that was mainly it for this update. Pretty simple. What I'm looking for today is simply a drop towards this area below, between $120,200 and $120,500. If we get a bounce first, I do believe that this could offer a nice short position as a day trade. Take it down there. If you lose this level, this short could turn into a swing trade. However, if you get a strong move up, of course, don't be chasing the shorts. And then if you get the drop, you see a nice reaction, then I will be looking for the long position for a reversal to the upside and a new all-time high on Bitcoin. So as usual, if you guys enjoyed this update, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.